took their secrets with them. I was wrong. Last fall, I returned to my grandmother's house after the funeral. It stood alone, at the end of a quiet Ohio street, yellow paint peeling, windows dark, cold rain falling, the kind of place where no one looks outside at night. I had not been there in 20 years, not since my mother took me away and told me never to come back. She said the house was sick. She said bad things lived there. She never explained. After she died, the house became mine. I wanted it sold fast. 2 contractors came that morning. By noon, one of their shovels struck wood, deep under the backyard. Not roots, not pipe, a box long enough for a body, heavy enough for guilt, wrapped in rusted chains. Concrete around the corners like someone buried it twice. The younger contractor laughed. Then the box moved. Once, hard, from inside. The laugh disappeared. We all stared at the dirt. Then we heard scratching. Slow, weak, desperate scratching. Something trapped below us was trying to get out. The older contractor backed away first. He kept shaking his head. No! 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 The younger one whispered, "Call the police." I should have listened. Instead, I stepped closer, because I knew that sound. I had heard it before when I was 7, every night, after midnight, under my grandmother's floorboards. Back then, she smiled and said it was rats. But rats don't whisper, and they don't know your name. I grabbed the contractor's hammer and hit the first lock. The scratching stopped, instantly, like it was listening. I hit the second chain. Something inside laughed softly. The younger contractor ran. The older one stared at me, then whispered, "She's still feeding it." Then he got in his truck and drove away. I was alone. I broke the final lock. Then the smell came out. Wet soil, mold, rotting wood, and beneath it, warm breath. It slipped through the crack and touched my face. Every part of me said run. I opened it instead. Inside the box was no coffin. It was a stairwell, narrow wooden steps gone, leading down into darkness. No bottom, just black. Then I saw the steps were wet. Fresh footprints covered them, bare feet. Small feet, still wet, leading upward, toward the yard, toward me. Something had already climbed out. I should have left then. But those footprints felt familiar. Not like memory, like instinct. Like part of me already knew where they led. I grabbed the flashlight and started walking down. The wooden steps groaned beneath my weight. Old, wet, rotting, but not abandoned. Someone had been using them recently. The farther I descended, the warmer the air became. That made no sense. It was late October in Ohio. The ground should have been freezing, but down there the air felt alive. Heavy breathing. And underneath my footsteps, I heard something else. Another set of footsteps. Below me, moving slowly in the dark, stopping whenever I stopped, waiting whenever I waited. That's when I saw the walls. Scratches, thousands of them. Some looked human, some didn't, and carved over the wood again and again were 3 words. She fed us. My stomach dropped, because suddenly I remembered the soup. Every Sunday night, my grandmother made soup after midnight. She never let me watch her cook it, but sometimes I heard voices downstairs while she stirred the pot. Not one voice, many, whispering together beneath the floorboards. Back then, I thought old houses made strange noises. Now I knew better. The stairs opened into a tunnel, long, narrow, dirt walls held up by old beams. The deeper I walked, the more memories came back. My grandmother locking doors at sunset, My mother crying in the bathroom. Chains dragging somewhere underground. Then one memory hit harder. I was 8, standing barefoot in the hallway. I heard my grandmother talking to someone downstairs. Her voice was soft, gentle, almost loving. Then another voice answered. A child's voice, wet, wrong, and somehow familiar. The next morning, I asked my mother about it. She slapped me so hard I fell down, then she grabbed my face and whispered, "If you ever hear children under this house again, you run." That memory nearly broke me, because I finally understood. My mother wasn't afraid of the house. She was afraid of what my grandmother kept feeding underneath it. The tunnel opened into a small concrete room. An old wooden table stood in the center, and on top of it was a tape recorder. Dust covered everything except the recorder. Someone had touched it recently. My hands shook when I pressed play. Static came first, then my grandmother's voice, soft, calm, almost smiling. "If you're hearing this, then it finally found you." I stopped breathing. Then she said, "You were always its favorite." A pause. Then, "She thought taking you away would stop it." I heard soft breathing on the tape. Then my grandmother whispered, "But hungry things don't forget." Another voice came through, not hers, a child, whispering close to the microphone. "Is he coming back now?" I dropped the recorder, because the voice was mine, not similar. Mine, exactly mine. Then I heard movement deeper in the tunnel. Bare feet against wet dirt, slow, careful, coming closer. I grabbed the flashlight again. That's when I saw the drawings. Hundreds of them covered the walls, children drawn in black charcoal, all smiling, all wrong, and beside every child stood my grandmother, holding bowls in her hands, feeding them. One drawing looked newer than the rest. It showed me, older, standing at the bottom of the tunnel, while something behind me climbed the stairs, toward the house, toward the surface, toward the world above. That's when I understood the footprints. Something had already left. Then the darkness ahead moved, not fast, slowly, carefully, like it wanted me to see it. A child stepped into the flashlight beam, small, thin, pale skin stretched too tight across its face, wet hair hanging over black eyes, and when it smiled, I felt my stomach collapse. Because it had my smile, my exact smile. Then it spoke, softly, calmly, like we already knew each other. "She told us you'd come back." More shapes moved behind it, small shapes, dozens of them, breathing together in the dark, watching me, waiting. And then I finally understood what my mother never said. My grandmother wasn't hiding monsters under the house. She was raising them. The child took one step closer, and I noticed something worse. Its bare feet were dry. The wet footprints on the stairs weren't from it coming up. They were from something going down, something much larger, something that had already entered the tunnel behind me. The breathing started again, right over my shoulder, warm, wet, patient. Then a voice whispered beside my ear. My grandmother's voice, soft, proud. "You came home hungry too."